All right, welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today we're doing something a little different, folks.
Ooh, excited.
It is exciting. Instead of looking at a book or movie, you guys sent in a song for us to dissect. And let me tell you, this one's a heavy hitter. We're talking about Chrysalis Cage.
Oh, yeah, that's a powerful one. You ready to unpack all that imagery and emotion?
Born Ready.
Uh,
I know a lot of you listening have been asking us to do a music deep dive, and Chrysalis Cage, with its themes of isolation and transformation, feels like the perfect place to start.
yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting. It's amazing how much meaning songwriters can pack into just a few lines, you know?
Seriously, every word counts.
Absolutely.
And right off the bat, Chrysalis Cage doesn't pull any punches. I mean, we're thrown right into this dark, heavy atmosphere. The title itself, Chrysalis Cage.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Mm.
We usually think of a chrysalis as this symbol of hope, right? Like the butterfly emerging, beautiful transformation.
Yeah, you think metamorphosis, new beginnings?
Exactly. But here, it's twisted. This chrysalis is a cage, a prison.
It really throws you off, right? Because you have that initial expectation of beauty and growth, but then it's like, wait a minute, this is something totally different. This is about feeling trapped.
Totally. And the lyrics just drive that feeling home. I mean, you've got lines like, a voice unheard, silent screams. It's all about that feeling of isolation, being unable to connect, to break free.
Yeah, there's a real sense of being stuck, of not being able to communicate what you're going through. Like you're screaming, but nobody can hear you.
Right. And the thing is, it's not just emotional isolation, it's physical too. The
Mm.
song talks about a twisted shape, a body not right. So it's like whatever transformation is happening, it's not a positive one.
Yeah, this isn't the beautiful butterfly emerging. It's something distorted, unwanted.
Almost monstrous, right? Like this change is something to be feared, not celebrated.
Exactly. And I think that ties into the idea of being misunderstood, you know? Like people see the outside, the twisted shape, and they don't see the person inside struggling to break free.
And that feeling of being forgotten, left behind, while the world just keeps moving on. It's brutal. It makes you think about all the ways we can feel disconnected, even when we're surrounded by people.
It's so easy to feel invisible, especially when you're going through something difficult.
Tell me about it. And then, well, then the lyrics bring in the family, and that's where it really gets to me.
Oh, yeah. The family stuff is rough.
It is. The speaker talks about how their family's love turns cold. They feel like a burden, like all their loved ones see is the disease, not the person they are inside.
It's heartbreaking. You really feel that sense of loneliness. Like even the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally, they've
Yeah,
turned away.
exactly. And with lines like shattered soul and ghost of who I used to be, it's like they've already lost themselves. They're just a shell of who they were before.
Yeah, and the chrysalis image really works here too, because it's not just about transformation anymore. It's about decay, deterioration, the idea that this change is actually destroying them.
You know, it reminds me of Kafka's Metamorphosis. Remember that story?
How could I forget?
Guy wakes up as a giant bug, totally alienated from his family.
Oh, for sure. It's that same idea of transformation as a curse, something that cuts you off from everyone. Nobody understands what you're going through, and you can't even explain it. It's terrifying.
It's that primal fear of being different, right? Like, what happens if I change so much that nobody recognizes me anymore?
And nobody wants to. They're afraid of you.
Yeah. And that's a really scary thought. But even with all the darkness in this song, there's this flicker of hope, or at least I see it as hope. It's that line about finding release in death and the image of the dawn rising while the world forgets the ghosts they knew.
Yeah, it's definitely a bittersweet ending. It feels peaceful in a way, like the speaker is finally free from the pain of the chrysalis cage.
But you said bittersweet.
Yeah.
So what's the bitter part?
Well, it could also be seen as giving up, right? Like true connection wasn't possible in life, so the only escape is death. And it's kind of sad that everyone just forgets about them.
That's true. It does raise the question, is it really a release if nobody even remembers you were here?
Mm.
I mean, maybe the speaker finds peace, but
But it's at the cost of their entire existence being wiped away, like they never mattered. Which, when you think about it,
it's kind of devastating.
it is. But I think that's what makes the song so powerful. It doesn't shy away from the tough questions. It forces you to think about life, death, connection, all that heavy
Well,
stuff.
but it does it in such a visceral way, you know? It's not just intellectualizing these themes, you feel them.
Absolutely. It's raw, it's honest. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people. Because we've all felt that isolation, that fear of change, that longing for connection at some point in our lives.
For sure. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Like, Chrysalis Cage isn't just about one person's struggle. It's a reflection of the human condition, of the challenges we all face.
And I think it's a reminder to be more compassionate, more understanding, especially towards those who are different, who are struggling, who feel invisible.
Because everyone's fighting a battle we know nothing about, right?
Exactly. So what about you guys listening? What resonates most with you in Chrysalis Cage? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. It's definitely a song that stays with you.
It's a deep dive, folks. And we're just scratching the surface. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think.
Let's keep this conversation going.
See you in the next deep dive.